Number 1 on this list means one of the most beloved movies of all time came within 2 weeks of never existing at all, and by the end of this video, you'll never watch these movies the same way again. Number 10. When Tim Burton was designing 1989's Batman, the character had worn blue and gray in the comics for 50 years straight. Burton wanted something darker and pushed for an all-black suit instead. Comic creator Bob Kane actually loved the idea, saying he'd always pictured Batman as black underneath. The blue was only there because solid black didn't print well on the page. That single costume decision reshaped how Batman would look in comics and movies for decades afterward. Number 9. In 1968's 2001 A Space Odyssey, there was no CGI to fake weightlessness in space. So Stanley Kubrick's team built an actual 30-foot rotating drum set at a cost of around $750,000, so an actor could appear to jog in a full circle around the interior of a spacecraft. The camera and the entire set rotated together, while the actor simply walked forward, creating one of the most convincing illusions of artificial gravity ever put on film, using nothing but engineering. Number 8. In Bullitt, Steve McQueen wasn't content to just act like he could drive. During the film's legendary car chase through San Francisco, McQueen did a large portion of the driving himself, weaving the Mustang through real city streets at genuinely dangerous speeds. A professional stunt driver still handled the riskiest jumps for insurance reasons, but McQueen's insistence on being behind the wheel for most of it is exactly why the chase still feels so real more than 50 years later. Number 7. Alfred Hitchcock originally wanted the shower scene in Psycho to have no music at all, total silence except for the water and the screams. Composer Bernard Herrmann disagreed and quietly wrote a screeching string score anyway. When Hitchcock finally heard it, he reportedly changed his mind on the spot and doubled Herrmann's fee. Without that decision, one of the most famous scares in movie history might have played out in total silence. Number 6. Dirty Dancing is set at a resort in New York's Catskill Mountains, but the crew never filmed a single frame there. By the mid-1980s, most of the old Catskills resorts had already shut down, so production moved the entire shoot to Lake Lure, North Carolina and Mountain Lake, Virginia, hundreds of miles away. Careful editing stitched the two locations together so seamlessly that most viewers still assume it was filmed exactly where the story says it was. Number 5. Jason Voorhees didn't always wear a hockey mask. For the first 2 Friday the 13th films, he wore a plain burlap sack over his head. On the set of Part 3, the effects team was testing lighting for a scene and needed something to put on the actor's face. The 3D supervisor happened to be a hockey fan and grabbed a spare goalie mask out of his own bag as a placeholder. The director liked it so much he kept it, turning a random prop from someone's gym bag into one of horror's most recognizable images. Number 4. After Warner Bros. Released the theatrical cut of Justice League in 2017 to mixed reviews, fans noticed the film felt unfinished, and they were right. Director Zack Snyder had left the production before completing it. A massive online movement called Release the Snyder Cut spent years demanding the studio finish his original version. In 2021, Warner Bros. Actually gave in, reportedly spending tens of millions of dollars to complete visual effects, and release a 4-hour director's cut that told a very different story than the one that hit theaters. Number 3. During Raiders of the Lost Ark, Harrison Ford came down with a severe case of dysentery while filming in Tunisia. The script called for an elaborate multi-day sword fight between Indiana Jones and a skilled swordsman. Too sick to spend more than a few minutes away from his trailer, Ford asked Steven Spielberg a simple question: what if Indy just shoots him instead? Spielberg agreed instantly, and the resulting 3-second gag became one of the most quoted moments in movie history, created because an actor couldn't handle 3 more days of shooting. Number 2. Robert De Niro's most famous line in Taxi Driver was never written down. The script simply described his character talking to himself in a mirror. During filming, De Niro started riffing, repeating "you talking to me" over and over, while director Martin Scorsese watched from the floor at his feet, feeding him energy to keep going. None of it was scripted. Decades later, it's one of the most quoted lines in film history, and it only exists because an actor decided to just keep talking. And number 1. This is the one I mentioned at the start. In November of 1993, Disney executives watched an early cut of what would become Toy Story, known internally as the Black Friday reel. And they hated it. Woody came across as mean-spirited and unlikable, and the tone was completely wrong. Disney was reportedly 2 weeks away from shutting the entire production down. Pixar's team scrambled, rewrote the story from the ground up, and softened Woody's character into the one audiences would eventually love. If that rewrite hadn't worked, there might never have been a Pixar as we know it today. Which one of these caught you completely off guard? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more hidden entertainment history like this, subscribe, because there's always another story behind the story.